Nikonja tasiezi karanga uwe hae shagala bagala.
So Cidi, just tell us briefly, what is at stake here?
A lot at stake. Over 20 million Kenyans risk losing their daily livelihoods because we are aware that a lot of NGOs have invested in the school sector. For example, in Mathare slums, there are only 2 government schools and over 400 schools. NGOs. So when the government is trying to basically to cap the amount of money the NGOs can get from the foreign donors, they're not targeting only the national CBOs, but they're even grassroots youth groups, women groups who have sports, who have AIDS activities funded by foreign aid. The entire northern Kenya is basically having water, healthcare provided by the NGOs. So what we are saying is that the government should shelve this act, these amendments. They must bring it back to the sector, we, the CSOs and the NGOs, so that we can make our inputs. What we are calling upon is that the government should be to implement the current act, Section 29, Section 30, 31, 32, 33 of the current act has mechanisms of accounting, and the NGOs have been filing returns. This notion that the NGOs don't file returns is actually a propaganda by the government. So what we are coming here as CSOs today is for the government to listen to the Kenyans, and instead of killing the NGOs, they should support us to ensure that we give the service to the Kenyans.
And I agree with my colleague that the notion that civil society organizations, NGOs included, do not account for the funds that they get from donors is really sheer malice and propaganda. If you go back to the NGO Coordination Act of 1991, that act had a very elaborate mechanism of accountability. All the NGOs, if you go to the NGO board, you will find files on all NGOs. You will find their returns for every year since they were registered. If you look at organizations that are registered as trusts, they have their own elaborate accountability system. If you look at organizations registered as companies, they have their own elaborate accountability system. The point to note here is that it is the very same government that holds the instruments to make these systems work. So that if there are questions around the workability of the systems, that is a question for the government and not for the NGOs. Now, the PBO Act, the PBO Act is very strong on self-regulation, and this is what we have been calling for. The PBO Act is extremely strong in self-regulation. It is very strong in ensuring that we even have a mechanism of reviewing ourselves. And these are things that we have been doing. Through the CSOI award, civil society organizations have been here reviewing themselves, for example. So there is nothing strange in the kind of things that we have been doing. We know that this move to control civil society, these moves to control the media, and it will not stop at that. All these moves are about the power games that are going on right now in this country. They have nothing to do with the citizen. And if you look at places like Wajir, where I was last week, you find that there's almost no government. All the services are services that are provided by NGOs. I can assure you about that. If you look at health, even nationally, the expenditure on health is more than 50% resources from those same foreign countries that we are talking about. Look at the EAC, the East African Community. More than 60% of its funding is from foreign donors. Look at the AU itself. Again, more than 70% of the funding is from those very same foreign donors that we are talking about. So a lot of this is just nonsense concocted to confuse the people of this country. And we are saying that the parliament today is the most shameless of the parliaments we have had in this country. And if it was possible, we would mobilize Kenyans to even go and occupy parliament. This time not outside parliament, but inside the chamber itself. And that is one of the things we are planning to do.
ili kufaana, sitasimama maovu ya kitawala, sitasimama maovu ya kitawala.